As it relates to swing geometry, there's something I want to call out to you here. We saw that Rory had more pelvic sway toward the target in early transition. We saw that had an effect on the amount of right side bend that was going in. We also saw that had effect on his hand path, and it essentially made his hand path in the club much shallower and approaching the golf ball much more from the inside. There's also a relationship here when you look at the chest, and this is something that I'll look at with every single player, all of my tour players, when they tell me I want to have a specific ball flight. Someone that's hitting a draw, we are almost always going to see a greater side bend value at impact than we are a rotation value. So you can see Rory is there at about 23 degrees of right side bend with the chest and only 18 degrees turned. Now his pelvis is, pretty open at 30 degrees, but it also has a pretty high right side bend value there. All of those things, these kinematics that you're seeing, are having an effect on his swing geometry. It's producing a more in-to-out, a more shallow angle of approach, with the club. So when you think about it, the only connection that we have to the club is through our hands, and our hands are applying forces, and there's torques occurring, and those things are largely happening because of the way that our body is rotating, the way that our body is tilting, and the way that those body segments, specifically the pelvis and the torso, are swaying. Now, there's a lot of other things like how we're interacting with the ground, but from a baseline standpoint, every single day on the range, just a conceptual understanding of this stuff is going to help you problem solve, and maybe take you down a road where you're making less changes to a student. I know that's what Sportsbox provides for me, because there's oftentimes things where I'll see something on video that I might not aesthetically like the way that it looks, and then I'll take a little deeper look in 3D here, and I'm like, okay, those values make sense based on the ball flight that player is trying to achieve.